once again here on YouTube. There it goes. So the gap just filled right there. The gap was down to 1450. So the gap is filled. Let's watch the reaction right here. This is kind of the area that I've been waiting for a couple of weeks, right? As I've been talking about, to see if you get all this buying down here. We have about 4 minutes until the next period, so there's decent opportunity that the market just kind of holds for a second before it starts to try to continue to the low side. But well, I mean, I guess we'll have to see for sure. All right. Also, it is the last day. If you are in the white Discord and you're looking to get into the new Discord, the green Discord, so I'm consolidating all of them. Today is the last day. If you haven't sent me a message on Discord, shoot me a message. I'll send you the Discord. If you're just watching the stream for the first time and you're interested in joining the Discord, comment in the chat and I will post the Discord link. The reason that the link below doesn't work is because we want to try to keep it not necessarily invite only, but we want to try to keep it where everyone is here for the same reason, right? So some people just tune into the stream and they're just kind of here to get the plays or see see long or short, and that's just kind of not what we're about here. So so let's take an overall kind of general look at the market real quick. What's going on today? We can see that we are so this is last week on Monday. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Fed day, Thursday, down day, Friday, lower. So we have value shifting lower 3 days in a row and now 4 days in a row. Today we opened up on a gap, closed the gap, and then flushed. And then now we're one time framing lower. It's a little bit hard to see on here where where everything is at. You can see some of the sectors here, and then we'll get into the gap. You can see XLP actually doing okay. Other than that, pretty much everything else is kind of looking like shit. Flexible grid, there's XLP, consumer staples is the only one that's doing well. You can see the volumes down. You can just see the threshold for the selling in the weighted sectors is down, and you can see the tick has not put in a positive tick yet, right? There has been no positive closes in the tick, and we're just kind of chilling below this 1000. You can see the breadth in the NYSE is 17.48 to 7 to 1 on the Nasdaq and 17 to 1 on the NYSE. What is interesting here, and this is something that I talked about on Friday, look at my boy Walmart. Remember I said Walmart, look at it. On a day like this, Walmart is killing it. Thank God we bought those fucking calls, huh? I mean, I wouldn't say killing it, up a couple bucks, $2. That's a pretty decent move for Walmart. And then let's go back to the main chart here. We'll take a peek at the ES so we can see here. And so here's this old gap that we were tracking, and look, we've filled that gap now. So if we go back to where, we have to go to a longer chart. If we go back to where this gap was at, we can see here, and so this this day from 4/1 last year, so April last year, so we've actually extended the trading range today too. So we're no longer in that 12-month trading range. I'll have to look and see how far out we are, but there is this next bar, and I mean this is a fairly mechanical buying off of this previous high, and so it would, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come a little bit lower, maybe down to this 397, especially today being so close to 4,000. It might want to try to test that. It is a very easy reference to see, but I mean, you can see just the background is kind of getting just a little bit worse and a little bit worse. As far as my kind of hypothesis or you know, my just crazy thinking. What's up, Purple Swan, Caesar? um JD, good morning. I was thinking that it's going to come down in here, come back up into this 12-month trading range, and then push for this high. If it can hold this high, I think that that weak high isn't possibly to get tested. And this is enough, I think, to get up here to get all of the people to start buying, and you know, retail to start buying. They start believing again, and then, you know, boom, the fear, or the sellers come in and just respond there and smash the market back down. I know that's pretty far away, 4,300. We're talking about 300 points, so it's not necessarily today or anything, or at all, period, right? I could definitely be 100% wrong, and we can just keep trading down, straight down, which is basically what we're looking for today. Now that we finally kind of made a decisive move lower, because this move was kind of back and forth. Even this move on Friday couldn't get anything going. Now this move is down, and it's holding down here. So there's opportunity for continuation, and that's really what we should be playing, right? Is monitoring for that continuation. I know it took a long, but you know, that's more of just my trade plan, and that's how I'm working it out. And a little bit of explanation about what my thought process is I think this area is not really getting tracked by a lot of people, and it could be a capitulation point where people, you know, the max fear sets in and people start to sell. Well, when retail is selling because they're so afraid, you get, you know, that's when institutions step in and buying. And like I said, that's not, that's just kind of what I'm thinking. It's not a recommendation at all. If anything, you should be looking lower, right? Because we are one time framing down. D period opened up, couldn't close the singles, poor low again, and now we're trading back towards that poor low. So the trend is definitely down. The daily definitely down. We're way below the open. We're below Globex. We're below Friday's low. Value is shifting lower. All right, everything's kind of screaming low side. So on a day like today, your safer plays are going to be waiting to sell rallies. Like I said, you guys know my theory, you guys know my position, and that's just me. And I don't want you guys to just be thinking, oh, well, Brad could be right, let me just follow him, right? Trade the chart in front of you. I'm probably going to pay the price, I'm sure, down about total 28 points right now in this trade. So, you know, probably not the best trade, if I'm being honest. Risky 02, what's up? Is that Young Cryptic? Risky 02? Or is that somebody else? Adam, good morning. Patrick, good morning. Pop, Trin, Tommy, Jamie, good morning. Good morning. If we take a look over at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's got smashed over the weekend a little bit, and you know, now we see today, even yesterday when the CME opened back up, Bitcoin got smacked down a little bit. We're coming down towards a low, and you're seeing a little bit of a bounce right here in Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting to see how this day goes. Definitely, as the day goes on. With volume, we're about 10% more than we were on Friday, so there's still a decent amount of volume. If you are watching on, you know, YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, if you could go ahead and smash that like button, just to get the algos going, you know, that'd be decent of you. So I appreciate that if you do it. If you don't do it, you know, not that big of a deal either. You know, we'll survive. Watch this poor low here. So one tick below. There it goes. But watch for just keep monitoring for continuation. Like I said, today the best thing you can do is sell rallies, right? So anytime the market rallies up, you want to look to be selling. In reality, that play, selling rallies today, is probably your best bet until the market gets above the 62 and into that prior day's range, and then we can start monitoring for acceptance in that prior day's range before. I mean, we've got single prints B, single prints in C, so you know, we're turning out so far to be a trend day down. This is going to be kind of the third distribution here. And so, and we already see a big volume nodule came down on 17 to kind of hold this thing lower. And so what we're looking for here is we're looking for the migration of the point of control. So if we think about it, and I'm more talking about TPOC, and then we wait for VPOC to follow through. But as TPOC is coming in, so here's, these are all 2 TPOs, these are all 2 TPOs, and now these are all 2 TPOs here. So we're waiting to see some of this volume start to come in, right? If we have more volume than yesterday, there should be some volume moving down to continue to push this thing lower.
Brad, how do you tell the difference between buyers coming in down here, being the volume, and sellers coming in to push it lower? I mean, I guess there's not really a way to tell.
There's no way to tell. Whoa, what's up with my mouse? Okay. Yeah, there's no 100% way to tell, right? And if anyone says that they know, then they're just full of shit. It's just, whoa, why is my mouse being all laggy? The fuck? Okay. Yeah, there's no way to know. I mean, like, if you look on that 4010 right here, we just had 1,400 lots, almost 1,500 lots trade on the low. They all traded on the bid. So that means sellers moved down to sell the bid, but price didn't go lower. Chances are that's not gonna hold. It looks like someone's just probably absorbing price down there, but I wouldn't be surprised if when this thing breaks, if they're not able to hold below that 4010, that you do get, possible rally. I mean, maybe even here, if buyers step up, that's a lot of contracts to trade on a low to not trade back to it though. But yeah, and really there's no way, there's no way to know for sure. It's just that I mean, you just have to kind of assume based off of where price is at, right? So like where we're at right now, in this gap or right below this gap, and then close to the 4,000, I've got my eyes peeled for to not get caught in a little short covering rally or a buy stop rally. Buy stops meaning sellers that are buying their positions back, right? Buy stops, it's like your buy stop, you buy something, you guys get what I mean, right? Or does that not make sense?
Yeah, like a take profit.
Okay, right. And so if those buy stops come out, look, the volume shifting down a little bit here. If the buy stops come out and then you see people get nervous, it can really rally the market. My theory, I guess, and it's turning out that I'm fairly wrong, it looks like, is that max fear is setting in, people are selling, and I think there was a lot of buying on Friday. That's and then I think, today's might be like a little peak below to shake out any weak longs that got long on Friday, and a possible bounce from here. I'm not, I mean, I'm down in the position, right? So it's not working out very well. It's just something that I think it's more of a psychological trade, and it's in my trade plan, so I get to do it. But it's more of a psychological trade than anything. But yeah. Tommy, you hit your 20 points. Let's go. 28 points for Young Cryptic. Hell yeah. See, you guys are fucking smacking it this morning, huh? If volume's coming in, it means to get some back and forth, so some acceptance even. Yeah, and so the way that I look at it is when we get this volume that came in, all right, and this is a weird spot, guys. This should scare anybody if they're paying attention to something like this. I mean, that's a lot of trades to not trade back below it, and we're pretty far. I mean, we're what is that? We're like almost 20 handles above that now, or 10 handles above that now. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, that's just a rotation, I guess. 10 handles is a pretty decent rotation. But it's definitely something just to think about, right? This here should be be kind of resonating in people's minds. But the way that I look at it, right? So like when we get these volume nodules, I like to pay attention to when the volume starts to come in, what's the retracement like? right? Because if sellers are on the gas, right, like they are down here, and they're just smashing the bid, well, they're not going to give any buyers room to breathe. And so any buying little bounce is just going to get sold back off, sold back off, sold back off, sold back off. And today we're actually seeing, well, like right now, even in C period, there was a little bit of a bounce, but sellers did come back in. And this is it here. So this is kind of just making me think that the selling today is, getting absorbed a bit, and then also, you know, smarter money that's still short is just being patient with these shorts. They're waiting to be, they're waiting for the wind to die down so they can shoot, right? So that way they don't have to use any Kentucky windage. Because right now, I guarantee you, nobody knows what the fuck is going on, right? Or nobody knows what's going to be next. And that's not just like, that's just not today, right? That's pretty much every day. It's just because we haven't been in these ranges in so long. And if we look, I'll just pull it up here. If we look at the, if we look at the ES here, I mean, you can see the last time that we've been down here is so long ago that we don't know when buyers will step into value price, right? We don't know, okay, oh, this is a good spot. I like it. This TV is only 40/20. Boom, cheap. I'll buy it. Right? We don't know. So, I'm just, basically assuming based off market psychology that people are going to buy here. That's just me being me, I guess. Kevin, what's up, my man? So I get to do it? No, not you, Alex. Only me. Only I get to break the. Well, it's not really breaking the rules. I wrote it in my trade plan, so.
That's what I was saying. You get to do it because you wrote, because you made it in your plan. So.
And I've been I've been talking about this for. What are you guys talking about? I've been talking about this for a while, right? Here we go. Getting back down to that 1400 volume here. Those Walmart calls are up 12%. 12% is not bad though. I'll take 20%, 30% every day. So there seems to be some buying down here on that 4010, right? There's 386 lots. So we'll see if it gets down back to that level. It looks like, I haven't seen that a lot where you get 1500 trades on the bid and price doesn't test it again. It has not been back down to that number. But remember what I said, if you're just tuning in, value shifting lower, prices lower, we're one time framing lower. Everything is pointing to just sell rallies all day today. Sarah Binsky, hello, good morning. Hope you are well as well. Move like butter. That's the song I got stuck in my head now, Jamie. Move like butter. Da 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 undercover. I don't even know the words. Just that BTS song. My kids are singing the shit out of it. Small. All right, so we're coming back up to where that seller was at, right? That seller was like this 20 to 22 level. Let's see if they try to go to fill these singles. At 22 is that kind of D high, so you see like 2250 where a high volume nodule is at in the last 30 minutes. fuck is... How was everyone's Mother's Day? I hope you guys have a... He said, man, I'm so sorry. You know, I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. You know, I had a great time. Got to go up and hang out with my mom. My sister got married on Saturday. You know, I was the best dressed at the wedding, naturally. Me and my wife were looking, you know, pretty fucking gangster, if I say so myself. I'll post a picture in the Discord for you guys. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's interesting right here. This is a very decisive point, I think, in the market, where the market really has to decide. You can see volume definitely coming in down here lower. It definitely has to decide, like, is it going to continue, or is it going to is this going to be, you know, is this going to be it, right? Yeah, it said the invitation said formal, but those Walmart calls are up about 20% right now. It said formal, so you know, we got formal, and you know, it didn't end up, I guess nobody else read the invitation. No, I think I might have been the only person besides like the groom's party that had a tie on. A white tee with the tux vest. I don't have a vest. So we're seeing a seller kind of move down here and try to absorb on this 16. See if we get above the 16. If the market gets above the 16, you're going to see these sellers are starting to get trapped, is what it looks like to me. But you know, if the fear starts to set out, where's the VIX at? The VIX is at 34.61. So the VIX is not really subsiding at all here. The VIX is looking like it's wanting some more upside. Definitely towards the high of the day right now. So appreciate it, Sarah. Thanks. But you know, I'm seeing here, like, these volume nodules come in, right? We see like some decent volume here, decent volume here, decent volume starting to form here. If the market starts to get above that, you're gonna get, and these are late momentum shorters probably, combined with some stronger hands, I'm sure, but there's some late shorting going on here, and if the market gets above, there's a chance of a short covering rally here, especially because of where we're at, right? So I'm trying to find this fear greed index, right? The fucking fear and greed index. Let's see what it says. Yeah, I haven't even looked at this, to be honest with you, until now. I just assumed that it said extreme fear, right? Because of where the market's at. And I think anyone could assume that as well, right? Not just me. But yeah, so we're at extreme fear, and the VIX is at 34. So, you know, I mean, that's pricing in a 2% move. And if we're looking at the ES, right, and you take from price, just let's just say right now, 2% from here up is about 4,100, and 2% down is about 39.29. So you still have to assume that any of that is possible, right? You still got to assume that, you know, the market could definitely get lower. You know, and that's just kind of, that's just being smart, right? Because that's where the VIX, that's what the VIX is implying. Would you say Bitcoin to 3,100 or 31,000? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. These are the levels that I have down. I think there might be some support here from like 32 to 31.7. But below that, I think it might be a fast ride down to that 31,000, 3080 or 30,800 level. And then below that, it gets kind of ugly. If we zoom this in, all right, that's where it starts to get a little bit slippy. I guess we could add a couple more daily levels here. That level's probably good. Look at that, 1, 2, almost 3. All right, coming back down towards that low. Let's see if they can trade it this time. That 1491. Remember, this is what I was saying. Like, there's a lot of times where I mean, I haven't seen it very often where we trade that much on the bid or on the ask, either or. This time it just happens to be on the bid, where it doesn't trade back to it at least. Apple. Oh, here, let me pull this over so you guys can see. Oh, I don't want you guys to miss the break, but Apple's down 3%, Microsoft down 3%, Google's down 2%, 1.5% for Google, Amazon down 3%, Tesla just getting a smackarooski 7%, Facebook another 3%, Walmart's up 1.36, Procter Gamble's up a little bit, still Procter Gamble retreated a bit last week. Oh, here it goes. Let's see if it can get that low. And this could be inverse, right? They could just be faking this. This is definitely a trick, or a market maker trick here. They could have just been, you know, not hitting that low a million times. So everyone's like, oh shit, let's buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And then they catch them, right? A lot of times that's how that will work. You can see the ES down 2% right here. Gold down 1%. NASDAQ down 3%. Russell down 3.5%. The Dow down 1.7%. Oil's getting a smack, right, down 5% today. There goes the low. Let's see for continuation, right? We want to see continuation below that 4010 here. Oops, I just. I mean, there's just huge orders down here on the 5, 300 lots on the 5, and then 500 lots on the 00 for that 4,000 level. This went bad. The ticket's still not registered a positive read. The breadth is still -18. The Nasdaq's pulling back a little bit here. It's at 6-1 negative where it was at 7. The Nasdaq did not break a new low right here in conjunction with the ES. The ES broke the low a little bit earlier, and the Nasdaq is starting to get a tad bit of a bid here. So it's kind of interesting. There's a little bit of a divergence between all of this. Oh, this is what I wanted to look at. Oh, shucks. What was I thinking? Okay, so this is another thing I was looking at. There is... Oh, did it break it? Okay, so I had talked about how this low did not get broken. Move drawing. I don't know if it didn't get broken yet. So there may still be some more downside. But so if we look, this is the Dow, right? You can see January, March, or February, and then we didn't break that low, that February low yet, right? The Dow did not break that February low. We look at the ES, right? The ES, January, February, definitely broke the low. Look at the NASDAQ, January, February, NASDAQ definitely broke the low. Could even erase this here. Move drawing. There we go. little continuation here. Looking for that 5 here. That 5 is got 300 lots on it. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm actually gonna have to put a little alert on here because I want to know when it hits. It's the low here, 32196. Oh, shit. Not able to get that 5 this time. We'll just have to monitor this here. You can see pretty much all of the weighted sectors getting smacked except XLP here. And then NASDAQ, you know, definitely making lower lows or lower highs and lower lows as well. There's the 5. There they go. They trade it. Careful for some buy stops here. We just broke the low, broke below that 5 and kind of flushed, but retreated almost instantly without any, you know, real volume. A little bit of a short covering rally right here. I mean, it's only fucking, you know, 6 points, but just be careful here above the 10. Shit. You taught someone how to skateboard and you've never rode a skateboard in your life? Got some bullish divergence building. Seems 5 points down there, a lot. Resting order stacked. Yeah, and those, most of the time, Patrick, those are what I'm talking about. Those are buy stop orders. When people are lining their, when you see lots like that on the DOM where you've got like, you know, every 5 points or every couple of points, there's just like orders just stacked. Most of the time, those are just like profit targets, right? And people are just waiting for them to get hit to get out of the market. And that's why I'm saying, like, I mean, today, as much as it seems like we might want to bounce, the you know, the move is obviously not to the upside. The move is definitely to the downside, and selling rallies is the best way to go today. Really, you shouldn't be taking any longs at all. You know, definitely not, to be honest with you. E period's opening up. So let's see if they're going to close. This is a little bit smaller of a single prints than we've had, but we haven't closed any single prints at all today. Doesn't look like it's gonna here either. Have to look. I don't even know how to delete the. Boom, easy money. I like it. the Dow broke that low that I was talking about, that February low. So this is where the extreme fear starts to set in. And you can see, I mean, there's really nothing to look to the left at, because we're just, you know, we're just so far below. We could probably just go ahead and toss this volume back on. Because we can't zoom out anyway, it's not going to help us. Volume's still coming in lower. Sellers are still trying to sell this thing, especially down at that 00. You can see, you know, 631 lots down there. You know, it seems like the market wants that liquidity. Something that is interesting as well, if we look at the COT report, big selling coming in still, if they're going to get that 4,000. They got it. 972 lots trading the 4,000. They bust it. I'm back above. That's what I wanted to show you guys. So if we're looking on bar chart, and this is something, yeah, the market just keeps going down. The fuck? Something that is interesting is, like, so these are dealers. Dealers were positive 6,000 contracts, and now they're negative. And then you look at asset managed 22,000, and they went up about, you know, 1,000 long on the NASDAQ. And if we look at leveraged, you know, they even cut some of their short position as well. So it's a real interesting point in the market, and that's why I think that a lot of people are confused, because it really looked like nobody really knows. Like it doesn't look like anyone really knows what's going to happen, and so everyone was just very cautious and was kind of just like, well, I guess we'll just stay where we're at and then adjust as we go on Monday. All right, Pop, we'll catch you later. Have a good day. So watch the 40-10. Remember that 40-10 was a big level. Let me take a look at the volume here in the NYSE. Still up about 10%, 10% more volume than Friday here. Capitulation. Morning, Crypto Mojo. Yeah, and that's kind of the point that I think that we're at, but we might not be there yet. You know, I definitely could be wrong, but I think this area is a capitulation area, and we could see, you know, a lot of buy stops come in and a lot of retail traders sell out their long-term portfolios. And you got to think, like, you know, these institutional or asset managers are not going to be just, you know, buying here, buying there. They're not like we are, where we're trading in and out, or we're buying at the 4,000 and then taking it up, right? They buy in spaces, right? Legs. And it's not necessarily the same day, right? We see the single prints close there. It looks like just a little short covering off of that 10. And really the 10 is, you know, going to start to develop as a pivot point between this 10 and this 8. That looks like that's where they're trying to sell the market down below. A pretty strong bounce below that 4,000 is, you know, pretty much normal, I feel like. 4,000, people are like, oh shit, things all the way down from 4,800 to 4,000. Deal. I'll buy it. Only 6 contracts traded on that low too. That's kind of interesting for me. Wow. Where you stroke your beard or your chin. If you're my son, doesn't have a beard. Actually clean your room? He goes, let me think. I'm like, what are you thinking about? You know you didn't. From 39.85 to 39.80. This is not visible in TOS. Patrick, that's what I was actually trying to figure out that with Tommy this morning because our charts are a little bit different. Let me look on TOS real quick. You said on the weekly. At 39.80. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't. 39.80. See that. Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. See, the interesting thing is, and this is the kind of complicated thing about these futures contracts. The way that they work, right, is, in months, different months, you can kind of see. So June is trading at 407 right now, 408, right? That's the one that we're trading. And then this next one is the September contract, and it's trading at 409. So it's actually trading 2 points higher. And then the Z contract is trading at 415. And then, next year, and it keeps going up. And so when you get to the chart and it goes to aggregate them all together, and if you go to settings, futures, and you can adjust for contract changes. So if we apply this, it might change the chart a little bit for us. Let's see here. It really is this thing. This thing just fucking sucks stat out of your computer. Market's up at 12 now, guys. Be careful, I told you at that 10. Yeah, see, so if we adjust for contract changes, right, you can see that there's a gap here. And if we go to the weekly, let's see if we go to the weekly. On the weekly, that gap is still there. But I drew that thing from the daily, not from the weekly. So, and that's just if you put adjust for contract changes on, and I do not do that. So I honestly don't know. And I don't want to try to give you an answer. I don't know why it's different. I assume that it's because of how the contracts roll over. And for a long time, you're seeing the market catch a bit of a bounce here. For a long time, we oh sorry. For a long time we have been looking at this gap. Even I've been tracking this gap since before the contracts changed over. So, but I honestly don't know like what is really gonna give us that, that exact information that we need, to be honest with you. Or what's the right answer is what I mean. Like, because if we look on here, switch to the weekly, it's on there, right? We're right in it right now. But at 30.90, there's no gap. And you said it's on Sierra. Yeah, and I think it's just how the data is loaded. I really do. Yeah, I don't trust Sierra. Yeah. If I'm looking at anything that's that far back, I look at a bar chart. Right? If we I could even pull up bar charts. And we'll take a peek at it. Let's see here.
I don't know if he's using rhythmic data on Sierra or not, but when I was doing the Apex stuff, it said not to use historical data from rhythmic on Sierra because there's some kind of like bad information or something in there that they can't get fixed.
Oh yeah, that could definitely be it too. I don't trust Sierra or Ninja like on historical data. Let's see if they try to run these D stops and close this distribution, and if they get back into Globex, guys, um, there could be a fucking rally. I mean, I hope there is. I took some fucking heat on this trade. A lot of heat. I have 2 lots on. One is from.
What do you mean you took heat?
I was negative in the trade, like a fuckload. I took 2 lots long from one from 37.50 and one from 28.25.
Dang, bro. Gosh. It's a lot of heat.
Called conviction. Almost back to my first or my second entry. All right. I mean, I've scalped a little bit. Like just recently, I took one from 9 to 20. I took one earlier from 20 up to 27, and then I was shorting the Nasdaq on the way down. So I'm hedging against myself. But I really believe. I mean, I just I've been talking about this for fucking. I feel like weeks now. This hitting this gap and then bouncing. And I just felt like if I don't at least give it a go, I'm going to be doing myself a disservice with not trying out my theory. That's why I said don't follow me on the trade, because it's not a good idea, obviously. And I'm not going to risk this much heat and just take it off for a couple of pennies, right? I'm going to hold the shit for a while. I didn't buy these 2 lots to just take off today. I bought them to hold. So it's a little bit different than like an intraday strategy. I think the market's going to bounce from here. It's just because everyone thinks that it's not.
Fucking Luna is just getting destroyed.
All of crypto's getting destroyed, and that's really telling you that it's not a risk-off asset. That's exactly what that's telling you, is that.
What does that mean though? Risk off.
I mean, well, right now it means literally nothing because the fucking bonds are getting smacked. But so typically in the market, you have risk on and risk off assets. So risk on is like equities, stocks, and the S&P 500 or the ES. It's tracking the top 500 stocks. Mechanical high on that E. Just be careful. So like risk on is Apple, Amazon, because they're speculative, right? Because you don't know what they're going to do. We trust Amazon, we trust Apple now, but when they first came out, they were speculative stocks, and their tech stocks still very volatile. And so not necessarily the place that if you're an older person that you want to be putting a bunch of money, because they can get smacked, right? Especially like if we look over like Tesla, right? Very speculative, did get accepted into the Nasdaq. But I mean, you can see taking a bit of a punishment recently, right? Whereas normally bonds, and this is why I'm saying right now there's nowhere to hide your money, but normally bonds are, Kevin, you're like, I'm getting feedback from you, my man, my headphones. Normally bonds would be a place where if the market's coming down, you put your money, because bonds, even though they don't give you as much opportunity for growth as something like Tesla, Apple, they're safe. They're like a safe bet. Basically buying bonds, and we can look at the ZN contract here. It's getting smacked but catching a bit of a bounce today. Normally people put their money in bonds. It's a slower growth, but it's safer, right? They say like when you invest money with a market with a money manager, you can invest in like a high yield, medium yield, low yield, right? And then they all come with different risk variances as well. And so typically, if you're not looking to what would we call it? If you're not looking to expose yourself, right, to a lot of volatility, like Elon, when he is owning Tesla, his net worth is varying, millions of dollars every single day, or billions of dollars every single day, right? Especially Tesla's down. What's Tesla down right now? Let me see. Tesla's down 6%. So Elon's worth 6% less than he was yesterday. Well, 6%, when you say it 6%, doesn't really seem like a ton, but when you're talking about a billion, it's a pretty penny. And so typically that's what people do. And another safe haven, right, is like gold or silver, metals, right? Typically that's a risk off, because we know that gold is never ever going to go to zero. Gold's always going to be worth something. Well, with Bitcoin, that's what everyone's saying. It's a risk off asset. Now people are going to put their money in it to be risk off. It's going to be a safe haven for money, right? But it literally cannot, it is not, I'm not saying cannot, because eventually it probably will be, but as of right now it is not. And at this point, just buying it just because you're just hoping that it's going to go up, it is just living in a fantasy land. And when markets start to crash, which I do think that is coming, I mean, we're down 20%. I don't know if you would call that it's a market crash, but it's a worse start to a market since forever, pretty much, in the first 4 months. And if Bitcoin was truly a store of value like they want it to be, or a risk off asset, it wouldn't be capitulating as much as it is now, because you're just seeing fear hit the market. And when fear hits the market, people sell off these speculative things first, right? Because they have the most opportunity to lose. Where you have a lot of opportunity to gain with some of these speculative things, there's also the most opportunity to lose. And so people just, they chuck them off first. It just, it's just how they do it. I don't know enough about economics to try to explain to you why. I just know that that's what happens. When I move to the East Coast and I'm being able to get up a little bit earlier, believe me, we're gonna have some motherfucking plays. We're gonna be all in the market, because it's just, I mean, I can only wake up so early. And 5 o'clock, like, that's my max. I can't get up earlier than that without just being worthless for the rest of the day, or just being angry and drained. Seeing a little bit less buying coming in here, a little bit more even fight right here as we're coming up towards this 20. I think this E high is mechanical too. It's kind of one tick below that B high.
So I hear that feedback too, but that's not me. I don't have mine on.
I turned yours off, that's why.
Right, but I'm still hearing feedback. You're not hearing it?
No, I'm not. No, right now I'm not. Only 4 contracts traded on that E high, 6 contracts traded on that E low. New bar opens up in about 15 seconds. And so, that should give us a little bit more insight on what we can look at. Oh, my bad. My time was wrong. 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So about 10 minutes until the next bar opens up. I thought that I was looking at it from far away and I thought it said 59.45, but it did not. It said 49. I think Tesla MicroStrategy bought somewhere around the current price. I wonder if they'll dump it in the negatives. I think MicroStrategy is their hold or die. They're at a point where, oh, Rasta Mars, what's up? Or is it Mage? Mage? Market's starting to catch a bid here a little bit. I think that MicroStrategy is all in. They're leveraged like to the gills with Bitcoin and all of these high yielding things. And so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. We should be seeing some balance sheets here, you know, in a bit, with it just ending. So 1 year ago they said it's the best tool against inflation. It's the best friend of inflation. Yeah. Magician. Oh, Mudge. Okay. Magician. Okay. So it fixes that mechanical high right there. We'll see what happens. You're seeing a little bit of volume come in here up at the top, but it looks more like absorption. Were you saying, Rasta, were you saying magician like I'm a magician, or like that's how you say it? Mudge, like magid, like magician, like your name, I mean. Yeah, but MSTR is taking a dive, was almost at 900. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they're smacked 100%. Yeah, same thing with like same thing with what's her face? ARK investments too, right? ARK has just been getting um you know, is it just ARK? I thought it was this one. It is. Oh, it's ARKK. Yeah, I mean they've just been getting, you know, that's the smackarooski of smackarooskis. And we ate, you know, find that one. This is, you know, shout out to my boy Chris on fx.com. I think that's his name. Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong. That guy from FX. What's his thing? Oh, I can't remember now. He's on Tasty Trade all the time. But I mean he's been calling ARK to go down for a long time. So he put us on that pretty early. Not feeling good, buddy? What will help? Yeah, oof is right. They just got smacked. Can you see on EXO where the market orders come in and where limit buys and sells are at? I don't know about on EXO, to be honest. And honestly, I don't think it's as important on crypto as it can be on future. Yeah, shorter way is to say, okay, your friends called you that? Nice. That's a cool nickname. Sellers are trying to give it a go here. Looks like they're not making any progress yet. Watch this 22. That was a big level where these buyers stepped in, where that volume came in big on the way back up. There's a nice little bounce off of it. So it looks like there's still some buying down there.
I feel like the sellers just aren't really coming in because they're doing what I'm doing. They're just looking for a better entry. They're like, yeah, keep going up. What the hell out of you?
I agree. Yeah, and that's something. Yeah, I've been saying that all day. It's like, you know, today's a perfect day to just wait to sell a rally. Yeah, I agree completely, because I do think that the market is going to be chopping, and that's why I said don't follow me on these two longs, because I'm planning on holding these longs for a couple of, you know, for a little while. You know, I'm targeting that week high on the weekly chart. On the, well, it's a week. It looks like this. I'll pull it over real quick. My target on these plots is 403.5. So I have one is basically flat, so I'm only down about 10 points now, but I was down a pretty decent amount before. But I didn't have a spot where I was really planning on getting out. I planned on holding it. So, but like I said, that's part of my trade plan. That's why I said in the Discord, like, don't follow me. Not advice. What's up, Otto? What's up, Mr. Red? But yeah, so I'm looking for the market to move up and try to kind of fix this. And this is where, because I still think the market's going down, but I think we're hitting that capitulation. We're at maximum fear. Retail's gonna come in there, sell all their shit. Well, Daddy Brad's here to buy it up from them and come back and fix it. And this is where I'm gonna sell it all up here. And this is where I think sellers are gonna come back in. Maybe get some chop up here, but I doubt we break out of this trend. And if we, if you really look at this, we could draw a trend here, and then you could draw another one here, right? And so we have kind of like these three trends that the market would have to break in order to become in an uptrend, right? So it's, even if it breaks out of this, it's still got to hold above there. Even if it breaks out of this, it's still got to hold out of there. And this is kind of what's making me think, like, so here's a more significant downtrend, right? This one's just really steep. So I don't really put too much weight on these really steep trends, but I do like to just see them sometimes. But this one is a little bit farther apart and less steep. I could see us just getting in here and then selling back down from there. That's what I'm expecting long term. But remember, that's not what we're doing here, right? We're not doing long term here. We're doing short term intraday trades. So the move today is definitely to wait for the market to rally and sell a rally. So far, right? We just came up to that, almost to that Globex low, that 29.50. Still not above half back though, and still have some single prints up in the B session. And then we're still a good ways from the prior day low, which is up at 40.62, about 40 handles above us. Looks like Apple might be picking up some steam here to the downside. See here. Oh, you're in a long on the NASDAQ? Nice. It's been moving up for a while. Where'd you get long at? You got long at 12,266. Damn, 10 points off the low. Good entry, bro. Really good entry. So for Bitcoin, so F period open up here. Let's just see what we get. Let's see if we get some continuation. We opened up right on the 22, which we talked about. That's that big level, the 22. That buyers were trying to get above. They got stuck at, and then they eventually popped it, and then they got stuck up at kind of the 27.50, even though they traded a little bit higher than that. But for Bitcoin, I mean, like I said, I don't think you're going to see any strength in Bitcoin until you see strength in the market. So if the market does start to go up, and remember, I definitely could be wrong for sure. So I'm not saying that the market is going to bounce, but I do believe that the Bitcoin will not bounce unless the market bounces. The market doesn't bounce. You still have extreme fear, and what people sell first in extreme fear is things like that. I mean, look at fucking NFTs, right? They're worth like zero now. I sent James this text yesterday about this NFT that was purchased for like $900,000 at like 6 months ago, and is now worth, here, let me just pull it up actually so you can see the exact numbers. Yeah, so this it was a CryptoPunk number 273 was worth 265 ETH, and 6 months and 17 days later it's worth 55 ETH. So it's down $847,000 in 6 months. And so like you know you're telling me that's a risk off asset, you know, I'll just tell you to maybe buy a dictionary and look up what risk off means, because that's just not how it fucking works. They're a store of value. That's what people thought they were, like art. Art is a store of value. It's just not. You know, I've always thought NFTs are a fucking pyramid scheme, and I mean, I kind of think they are. Like, if you're the first person in on like an NFT craze,
it's a money laundering scheme.
yeah, well, that, I mean, that for sure, everybody knows that. But I think that they're also not just a money laundering scheme, but rich people have been using them as pyramid schemes, dumping all this money into these servers, pumping all this shit up. People buy these NFTs, and then, you know, but like here's the thing, like, so for me, let's say I was a holder of this, right, and I'm down $847,000, right? What's the point in selling it? You're already down 85%. You might as well just hold the bitch forever. If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. And but the thing is like, it starts to get that low, and people are leveraged out. They leverage their unrealized gains for real money, and then if their unrealized gains go down, they get smacked, right? A lot of people are dealing with that on Bitcoin. I mean, look at fucking MicroStrategy. Where was their, I think their 32,000 was their entry on Bitcoin. I mean, what about El Salvador, right? What's their entry on Bitcoin? Definitely not down here, I don't think. NFTs are like modern day Beanie Babies. Yeah, I agree, but they're even worse than that, because they're like modern day fucking like purse parties.
It's like selling you a colored water.
Yeah, and then you get your friend to do it, and then your friend gets other friends to do it, and then basically the last person to join is the one that gets fucked. That's it. But as long as, like, if I get somebody to join and I get you to join and then you get somebody else to join and then all these people keep joining, as soon as everyone kind of stops joining and the hype dies down, that last person to get in, because they, you know, they're like, I need a CryptoPunk NFT so I can be a CryptoPunk. Boom, they buy the CryptoPunk NFT. And then no one keeps joining after them. Well, now they're bag holding because they're
You literally
fucked.
just described every monetary system. I mean, that's the exact same as crypto, GameStop, AMC. You know, they're all the exact same model.
Anything that does not have anything financial or physical backing it will always be that way.
Like all the GameStop and AMC bag holders, I know a few.
Like, I can see him right now. I'm looking in a mirror.
Hey, I didn't get caught in that. I actually caught some of it. I don't want to hear it.
No, I remember. Yeah, it's like a hot potato. It really is. But the thing is like, you know, stuff like NFTs and stuff. You know, at least Apple makes shit. You know, GameStop makes shit. Like, so there is some monetary value behind them, or like some physical value, because you could literally, you know, go to the store and take all their shit and sell it somewhere else. Like, even if the GameStop store ceased to exist, they can sell all of that shit, right? But what can you do with a fucking screenshot of a picture? Literally, when I sent that message to James yesterday, he screenshotted it, clipped it, sent it back to me. He said, "Yeah, I have the same one." You know, it just I don't know. I just don't. I like the idea of crypto, but I don't understand fully NFTs, I guess.
Well, NFTs for anything besides art is amazing. I mean, it's a, you know, put your, you know, your title to your house, your car, any, you know, pictures, your kids or birth certificates, anything that you want forever, you know.
Here's
put
the
in there.
thing is, does anyone really know about NFTs? I mean, does anyone, I mean, because the reality is the value is only there because people perceive there being a value. That's it.
Right.
It's a belief.
Well, you're talking about the artwork though, right?
But no. Well, however you want to word it, it's the idea is that it's only valuable because there's a belief behind it. As soon as you remove that belief, it's gone. There's nothing holding it up. So it's only based on whether you think it's valuable and the next guy thinks it's valuable. And so at that point, it really, I don't think anyone fully understands the fact that there's nothing backing it. So once all of that belief is gone, or someone has some epiphany and says, well, now it's going to be rocks or whatever, all that just disappears.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I wouldn't want to NFT something because we say NFT forever, right? Like you're saying, Kevin, but I'd rather have my birth certificate paper in my hand. I'd rather have it's the same idea. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure like every dictator in the whole world has tried to do this. They tried to
Well, now
digitalize.
you can travel. No, it's better than that because these people are getting, like, these people are going from the Ukraine to Moldova, whatever. They're getting their passports taken away, and so then you're totally screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're
It's
gonna be,
on. It's
but I'm thinking bigger term, right? Think about it. This is only you only have access to these NFTs because of the internet. It's not like a wallet that I can keep my social security card in, right? So if the internet goes out, I don't have it, and so who controls the internet? I mean, you think about how much pockets this is in. Yeah, the market's ripping up. So you went right up to that 36. Um, this is like I
Yeah,
said,
I
guys.
wasn't
I
fucking paying
don't.
attention.
I think this might have been it. I think we might have been right. We'll see. I mean, I guess, but NFT can be used to link contracts. I like the idea of NFTs like that, right? Because it just makes it easy for transactions. I like that. But the thing is, if the internet goes away and you had your deed to your house on an NFT, and the government comes and says, "Hey, guess what? This is my house," and you go, "No, I have the deed to the house," and they say, "Okay, well, show it to us," and you say, "Oh well, the internet's not working. I don't, right? You're fucked. You're out. You're done." You think that you're gonna win that battle? No chance. There's no chance, right? It's just not gonna happen. And so, like,
Well,
for me, I need think about every. That's what I was saying.
it's
So think
nearly
about
impossible. It's
every.
nearly
Well,
impossible to. Go ahead.
think about
It's nearly
every
impossible
like
to turn the internet off.
dictator tried to burn what? Tried to get rid of what?
I don't know what
Books.
you're saying.
They try to get rid of books.
Right.
So what's the easiest way to get rid of that? Because people are going to hoard them. So instead of having to go to everyone's house, you digitalize everything and then get rid of it. Now nobody knows anything because it's not there in the palm of their hands anymore. Right?
Right.
Kind of the reason I'm building a library.
Or you create a worm. Create a worm that goes and eats it all. Digital worm.
Yeah.
NFTs right now are used for artwork, but NFTs is really a technology, kind of like how blockchain is a technology that Bitcoin is built on. So NFTs is a technology, like we said, it's going to be used for a lot of stuff. But it's kind of like having an open source project, right? Like if some hacker went into an open source project and dropped a bunch of code, everybody's going to see what happened and who did it, and it's open source. Everybody knows it because it's public information. So that's the idea behind NFTs. And the technology is that it's all open source. Everybody can see what happens. So all this behind the curtain stuff that the government's always doing, if everything was on the blockchain, everybody could see what the government's doing, which would, be night and day what they're telling us that they're doing.
Right. Oh no, I'm not thinking one-sided, Rasta. I'm just saying just in case. I agree with TJ. I think that technology is, I mean, is the way ahead. I don't think the internet is going anywhere anytime soon. I'm just saying, like, you've got to think about things that people can cut. That becomes one of those things, and things that I'm always thinking about things that people need, right? You need food, you need shelter. What's that, TJ?
So just like with China, they block all of the, these social media sites, and you have to use the Chinese version, and they limit.
Exactly. Even Fortnite, a fucking kids game, is different in China. It's and that's the thing is like, if you think America's not as powerful as China to just decide that they want to do something like that. I mean, who was in on the most recent in the most recent meeting, or not the most recent, actually, it was a little while ago. Guys, there's 1,500 lots traded on the ask right there, and 800 traded on the bid. So there's a seller trying to absorb and hold here. If this seller loses out, you're gonna look to trade to the high of the day, at least to the open, and then maybe some resistance on the prior day low. But that's where the target will become if this seller that's sitting here gives up. That's where they're gonna target, is gonna be up to the high. So if you're looking to get short, you've just got to be careful here. This could be a dangerous spot. Now I forget my train of thought, but fuck. Damn, we were on such a good one.
And then we filled in that gap, didn't we? The 37 to the 14.
We sure did. I sweat my ass off the whole time. I had to left fucking when I left the house, because we were already breaking it pretty low. When I got home, I had to put some deodorant on. I was like, how sweaty I was, dude. I'm telling you.
I get down 3, 4, 5 points. I'm sweating. I don't know how no, and that's on the MES. Jeez.
I was down a good amount. Oh shit.
So we went down, we filled a gap, now we're back above it. There's pretty good odds we keep going up, right?
I think so, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's tough here. If buyers don't step up here, I mean, you can see there was some good volume here in Globex. If buyers don't continue to step up here, and this thing starts to fade back down and get below that 22, there could be, you could be shaking out some of these momentum buyers, and the thing could fade back down.
Yeah, the value area high right now is sitting right around where my VWAP is. But we are also getting a bearish divergence on the 1 minute chart, so could be some back and forth still a little bit.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, Rasa. Rasa says,
You see the 1 minute chart? Oh shit.
Rasa says, infrastructure built on government trust and notaries. If we had strong infrastructure on NFT, that's why the same thing, it would be the same as like a barcode, right? Just the notary becomes like a computer. And yeah, I agree with that. I just think that if I just don't know how deep in the pockets of a lot of these companies the US government is, right? That's what I was saying is, so Jeff Bezos was at like a recent defense meeting. Like, why?
Dude, he got 200 or $600 million or $200 million from the CIA, and then bought the Washington Post like 2 weeks later.
Right. And so
he's
right. And I'm not getting into any of that. I'm just saying, like, do we think that a company that, we know these companies do shady shit, right? We can just all agree on that. And maybe not know, but we can all just assume they do. Because anyone that's that rich, I just imagine, probably had to do some,
like those doorbell ring things. That's fucked up. The ring thing.
Well,
when you agree, when you start or when you buy it and you use it, you're agreeing to the terms and conditions. In terms of conditions, that they can sell your data, your stream, to local authorities. So there's a whole bunch of cities that signed up for it, and they're using your doorbell ring video to monitor the street, monitor your front yard, monitor who's going in and out of your house, and you okayed it when you bought it.
Yeah, it's like Minority
Pretty
Report, right? Someone's just sitting in a room watching a bunch of computer screens looking for people committing crimes, and then they just call it. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, I don't know if any of these companies want to switch to something as transparent as that, because then we could see every transaction. Like TJ saying, it's open source, so we should be able to see. Kevin, you got to turn your mic off, my man. We can see everything that's going on in there, and you know, I don't know if if they want that, if you know what I mean. Doesn't
the
seem
government
like it.
seeing everything they're doing, that's for sure.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, that's what so that's kind of where I think what will happen is the they'll start to make these companies transparent, or force them on like a blockchain once they have control of it, but there's still going to be a way to backdoor things, right? Like every code given the right coder can be broken, I feel like. That's why I don't think a computer can ever be a human.
Well, not to mention whatever you use as a valid security today in 2 to 5 years would potentially not be valid security at all. Just like a lot of the security from 2 to 5 years ago, which they said, oh, will never be broken, is you can strong arm it and get through it. Because of technology, it will always be. This is the new arms race.
That's not something that you would do, though, right, Uncle? You would never do.
No, I do. The only time I've ever done anything like that was just to understand it, not necessarily to do anything to. I've never hacked anything.
Basically
Wink.
hacking the
What was that?
I said wink.
that's hacking the Russians.
Yeah, no, not my deal.
The I mean, that's, yeah, I agree. I agree with that too. I think it is like, you know, the next war, so to speak, is going to be cyber. And I think you're right. Like, it's just that's it's like, who's going to be first to hack the other, you know? Like, are we going to hack whoever's trying to hack us first? Are they going to get us?
There's a really old movie called Sneakers, which you guys are probably all too young to know about. But it was to make a long story short, there was a company, and if it was an anagram of the term "no more secrets," and somebody had created a chip that would decrypt something based on Greek lettering, which is just the U.S. based. But they were saying that it was, you know, a foreign entity that was doing it. But the reality is that's what everyone is trying to do, is trying to create the ability for either you to maintain secrets or you to break other people's secrets.
What was it called?
It's called Sneakers. I mean, it had
Sneakers?
Robert Redford in it and a few other people. It's a pretty old movie. It's like from the 80s.
1992.
There you go. It's a really good movie that really sort of gives you an understanding of governments and how they are oriented toward. The funny thing is what it ended up being. I mean, I guess I shouldn't give you the answer, but I'll just say that it was not a foreign entity. There was the people that were wanting this were not a foreign entity.
They were aliens.
Yeah, that way they were aliens. Anyway, there's a lot of I mean, like that whole thing with the NSA with Snowden, where he came out and he said that they were changing chips in Cisco routers or switches to be able to monitor what was going on that. I mean, the same premise applies.
Right.
I mean, do you think they're not doing that today? They just haven't gotten caught yet.
That's why I love when everyone's like, you know, they don't want to give their DNA
Well,
or
yeah,
whatever. People gave me a bunch of grief for doing that 23andMe thing. They're like, oh, they got your DNA. Well, first of all, I was in the military. They definitely got my DNA already. But second of all, you don't think they're watching everything that you do?
Yeah, it's a level of your understanding of what they're doing, not what they're doing. It doesn't
Yeah.
what you know of what they're doing doesn't change anything that they're doing. It's just a matter of your understanding of it and your acceptance of it.
Right.
That was a great fade right there.
Yeah.
Just go with that.
So we saw right there, yeah, that was a good one. The market got long. You just started seeing people lift the offer, lift the offer. There's 1,500 lots traded on that top tick, and you know it was all on the offer. Kevin, come on, man, you gotta mute your mic, bro. And then, you know, it just couldn't.
No, that's not me.
Bro,
My mic is not.
I'm telling you, I muted you just now. It was you. I promise. I could, because I have I can see everyone's mics. It looks like this.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I say that, but you have to turn it on to talk to you. Can you hear me now?
Yep. So we will play Battlefield and see who's the strongest. Yeah, I mean it's interesting, and today is a Russian holiday too. Russian holiday is today.
It's a killer Ukrainian day.
No, it's Victory Day.
Same thing.
Victory Day.
I was wondering why the hack attempts on my router were going down. They're off today.
This is known as a Victory Day. May 9th is a national holiday in the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II, typically marked by an elaborate parade in Moscow's Red Square. And you know, I mean, because he was fighting against Hitler, that's what Putin is saying against Ukraine, is that he's calling them Nazis. He's been calling them Nazis.
Well, there are Nazis that live there, and Ukraine's been fighting them for, I don't know, like since 2014 or something. We put a different regime in there. And so that's why there's a lot of conspiracy theory going on, because they're getting help from the Russians to get those Nazis out of there. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on over there. It's not all that they're showing us on the news. What's going on over there?
Yeah, and I don't try to understand what is actually going on. I just speculate. But so notice here, look at this. The market is gaining or trying to hold this 40.36. This was an area of resistance earlier for us. That's right at this C high, right? And so we might be seeing some more mechanical buying again, or you know, maybe some initiated buying here to try to backfill any of this. But if we stay below, you can see where a higher volume is at, higher volume a little bit below this. You know, you really want to watch for continuation above or below these two levels here. So like this 42 and this 36 are going to be kind of or have been kind of a little tight spot here. Notice the tempo on the way up versus the way down too, right? Pay attention to that. Even this morning when we were going down, the tempo really wasn't very fast. I mean, A period, you know, really just bounced around like the whole time. B period gave us a little bit of downside, but then, you know, C period chopped around and went lower, D period chopped around and went lower, E period chopped around and went lower, and then F period finally was kind of like, or E period finally was kind of like, all right, that's enough of that, and then F period kind of did the same thing. But we've still got to maintain perspective here, right? We don't want to just be like, now's not the time to be getting long. You would have had to have, oh, you fucker. You would have had to have been long, right? And we still are below the previous day's low, so we're not back in yesterday's range. And who knows, we might not get back in yesterday's range. There's no way to know for sure, but you still have to remember to maintain perspective. So before you're just like, oh, I'm buying, we're going up, settle and say, okay, if we are going to go up and test that open or test that prior day low, where's a good spot for me to get long, right? And so then we zoom back in and we're like, okay, that's a good thought process. That's a good thought process. Where should I be getting long at if I'm going to look to get long? Well, we look at where buyers have stepped in and we just assume they're buyers because they're below us, right? I'm just calling them buyers because they are simply just below us. So whether or not they were buyers or they were sellers that got stuck below us and had to buy their position back, now they're buyers. That's just how I group them inside my head. And so when we look at this, we can see some of these volume nodules. So now that we're back down to this low one at this 36, we decide, okay, what kind of tempo are we getting right here? And it looks like it's picking up a little bit to the downside. right? And that one kind of gives you a clear shot. Like, okay, I don't know if I want to buy that. And look at all the volume coming in here. It comes down and kind of pops back up. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I can get longer on this 27, I might be able to catch a nice little move, and we can move up. And so this is what you're waiting for, waiting to see it come here, waiting to see if volume steps in and fills this in, and then go with it, buy it, and then target that open, right? As far as where your stop's going to go, that's going to have to be based off of your risk, because that F low is way down there. So technically, to be wrong, it would have to break that F low, and that's a long ways down, right? It's about what was that? That's almost 20 points. The open up from that 27. Yeah, if you targeted the prior day low, that'd actually be like a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio.
But it being this volatile, that's not really worth it, though, right? There's a lot of risk.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're risking like 17 points to make like 27, or to make like a, well, no, that'd be, because it's 30 and it's at 62, so you'd be looking at like 35 points. So it'd be close to a 2-to-1 trade. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely against the trend, that's for sure. But you've also got to remember, we're looking at the daily trend now, and we have EXS with only 6 contracts that traded on that low. That's not very strong, and that was the first time that we've hit a low like that we made. Every time that we've hit the low before that was like hundreds of contracts, and ease a little bit late in the day when the volume starts to dissipate. That could just mean that the sellers are done, right? Selling still, or I mean, volume is still above yesterday's or Friday's volume, but sitting at about 13% above yesterday's right now. Let me take a look at the Nasdaq's -5-1, NYSE is -9-1. We've been putting in some positive ticks as well. Finally saw some positive ticks. There is some selling coming in here, though, it looks like, in the weighted sectors a little bit. See if it can sustain. You did have communication services has flipped to green as well now. We've got consumer staples been green all day. Communication services flipped green. Not that I want to brag, but Walmart's up 2%. And somebody called James and tell James. Margaret, Walmart's up 2%. Remember what we talked about on this weekend? Options are only up 23% though. Big sauce. Yep, the volatility is killing them. G period opens up. So no real mechanical buyers off that half back right there. Let's watch the Globex low, see if we get some buyers here. Really. Remember what we talked about? Above that 45, you'll probably see more short covering again. Look at the tempo picking up to the upside. There was 1,688 contracts traded on that top tick, and they were all on the offer. So buyers being aggressive. Well, they're taking profit here. This thing might pull back, actually. It looks like they're taking profit.
Get ready for the short.
Oh, I'm not shorting. I'm in a long. Fuck
Oh,
no.
you're long?
I've been long. Oh, it took fucking. I'm up 50 points today.
You're crazy,
So
man.
We're gonna go test that low
You're,
again.
you're long and you're up 50 points?
Yeah, after averaging in, I mean, my first, well, I had the 2 lots, but I've scalped on the way up.
Oh, not on the same. Oh.
But my
okay,
first
you're
entry was at 37.50, so we're already above my initial entry.
So you're not up 50 points on this trade. You're saying total.
Yes, this trade right now. This trade, I have 2 lots on, and I'm up 66 points, 65 points total. So together, so divide that by 2, I guess. So it'd be
That's pretty amazing.
my average is 1475 when it does the Sierra chart math. I don't know how they do the math on these sometimes. I feel like it's wrong, but
Man, we should get a little pop and get over that 40, 45.
yeah, it's interesting right here. It kind of looks like sellers are trying to move down, but I just don't know if they have the juice. You know what I mean?
Brad, have you ever been happy with yourself and yet disappointed at the same time?
Never. I'm always happy. Kevin, see, this is you. Telling you, that's your mic. It's on.
It is on now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I
mute.
broke
Yeah.
one of my rules, Brad, but I recovered.
What rules do you have, Jared? I haven't seen them. Did you write them down?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, send me a picture.
$1,000 loss limit was my thing. I told you this a million times, and I hit 1,012, and I was like, it's only $12. I got it all back. Now I'm up 37.50.
Oh, nice. How many lots have you traded?
$1,000 loss limit for the day. My daily loss limit.
Wrong. He has no rule. He broke it. He broke
Yeah,
it.
he doesn't.
I did.
He doesn't
I
have any
know.
rules.
Shut up. I did. Last week, whenever I hit $1,000 loss limit, okay, I closed out. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Just not in tune with the market. But today I was like, I'm only $12 under, and
You're not going to justify breaking a rule in here, even though you did good. I wouldn't even count this as a good day because if it happens more than often, you're going to fucking lose. I wouldn't be happy at all. You shouldn't be happy at all. Don't be happy.
And disappointed.
No, I'm just disappointed.
I can tell you some rule breaking rules. It's bad.
That's all it takes. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna have one drink. It's only one drink. Fucking that shit. That's just not how it works. There's a reason that there's rules.
It's ripping down pretty good right now.
What is? Got me weak. You should listen to me and Jared. Jared's conversations on
Bitcoin.
On the game. We get going pretty good. It's funny.
I'm actually up for the day though, Brad. Pretty good actually on both my accounts.
Nice. I'm still not proud of you though. You broke your rule.
I know. Shut up.
I'm telling you, like more often than not, that's gonna happen. And you're like, it's only $12. Oh, it's only $100. Oh, it's only 1,000 extra things.
You're down $3,000.
And it's gone.
Pull your account. God.
No. So look at this. They're just doing a little bit of backfilling is what it looks like here. Every time the market pulls back a little bit, it looks like we're getting buyers, bigger buyers, higher and higher. And now you're seeing the point of control here. And remember what we talked about, right? When we look at the profile to kind of see who's in charge, and I'll show you what was eluding me to this it just looks more like buyers are a little bit stronger here, right? I mean, to me, it just looks like they're being a little bit more responsive. And if we look at Friday's profile, that's kind of what, I mean, and that gap, right? I've been talking about that gap for a minute, but with this profile here, you see the point of control, right? And I mean, it just looks like buyers are just in there, right? And this thing kind of fades off, but it just looks like there was some buyers in this market. It didn't look like, you know, that it was just sellers selling it. I mean, obviously people were selling, but it looked like there was a lot of people, you know, capitulating. It looked like a lot of the selling was forced selling, like there was a liquidation of something, right? And that's kind of what I was thinking here.
Oh, they're gonna be selling. Ain't no guess.
Well, I was expecting, honestly, I was expecting this weekend to kind of hear that a massive liquidation happened from like a big hedge fund or something like that, with how violent the market got on Wednesday and Thursday with Powell. But you know, we never really heard anything.
And there, and here we go.
Yeah, so back down to this 27 level. This is that level that, you know, buyers initially stepped in. Notice the tempo's picking up on the downside here. And this is why I said I don't want you guys to be, you know, following me on this trade. This was just my trade plan. And, you know, I mean, it worked out for my account, but it definitely gets some people in trouble. And I've been saying today's the day to sell rallies. Picking up a little bit of steam here and coming back into like this lower balance, right, if you will. We have 4 TPOs here, 4 TPOs here, and you know, imagine with me for a second if let me just split this here. Imagine with me for a second that this is just a regular profile and we kind of had this separation. There's only 3 here, you know, 3 here. It kind of came down, back tested them, and we'll see if it gets accepted in this lower distribution, right? Does that make sense? So like got 4, 4, right? It's trying to like come back down, maybe test in there. You'll look for acceptance. Acceptance in here would indicate the low. Rejection of here would indicate, you know, back up into Globex range.
Jesus is, man, Luna's getting killed. Algo's getting killed. Oh man, it's insane. I remember these prices when I started doing crypto. I remember them being this low.
Well, it's like I'm saying. All right, Patrick. We'll catch you later, man. Where's your point of
$46 for AVAC? Wow.
My point of invalidation? You know, my point of invalidation would just have been acceptance below the gap. That would be my point of invalidation. So like at the end of the day, if we're below that gap, then, you know, that will tell me I need to liquidate because I was wrong. Patrick, have a good day, man.
Take your profit, Brad. Get the hell out. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna head back down the lows.
Yeah, but
especially if this candle closes around down here,
Oh God. Here we
I
go.
really do feel like it's going to keep going down. No, I really do.
Yeah, but your feeling is just not the best. Normally, like when you tell me something, I'm like, all right, do the opposite of that, and then I'll make money.
Hey, 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 I want to hear it. It's going to happen. Okay. You know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm going to log off. I'm married, bro. I could take this abuse from somebody else. I don't need this.
Yeah, and my theory behind that, Risky, is like, so, and it's really got me with this book that I'm reading, is to get exposed to some of these, you know, the book I'm reading is called Black Swans. And so to get exposed to some of these black swans, you have to expose yourself. You know what I mean? And so for me, if I don't take the risk, I'm just at that point where if I'm not going to take the risk, then what am I doing, right? I've got to keep testing my front edge. I know that I can scalp intraday for the most part and be successful at it because I'm so patient. But I've got to start testing my upper edge to continue improving myself, and that's my my goal is to improve myself, you know, a little bit every single day. And that's just kind of like, you know, just the
So what happens if
next
you're already
step.
perfect?
Now I fucking lose money, you know, it's not gonna be the first time. That's just part of the game, you know what I mean? Like, you just lose games, you know. But it's like, I'm the player that I don't mind shooting the three at the last second, you know, if nobody else wants to shoot it. I'm not the best shooter on the team, and I can admit that. But if nobody else wants to shoot it because they don't want the pressure, and they don't want the, if they miss it, everyone to get all pissy at them, I don't mind that. You know, I can take the shot. Pass me the ball. I'll shoot it. Fuck it. You know,
Have you
if
ever
everyone
seen
gets mad at me, it doesn't
Replacements?
matter. I love the movie Replacements, bro.
Yeah, it's like difference between winners and
Yeah,
losers. It's at the end of the game, winners want the ball in the hand.
yeah. Put me next to that door on the airplane. I'll get it open. Don't worry. Now I may not go back and rescue everybody, but I'll get the door open. Don't worry about that.
I always nod my head when the stewardess asks me, and I just say yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want help? Yes.
The
Just got
Last thing I want to do is be sitting there while somebody's trying to fumble around with the door. It's like, hey, just move aside. I got this.
what's that, TJ?
This thing is.
I always just say yes because I'm like, I just sat down and got all my stuff situated. Now you're
Here.
asking me this.
If you want to move, like, no.
No, I'm good.
All right, so we're coming back down into this lower value, right? So if we were to kind of separate these, we have 4 TPOs here, 4 TPOs here, and now, I mean, now we're having 4 TPOs all the way. But if you think there was kind of like this little weak spot here in the profile, right? And so it's kind of come back down and it's coming back into the lows, and this is where we're looking to see if, you know, these sellers that are obviously here are going to move down, and, you know, price should continue to look towards these lows. If not, you're looking for these responsive buyers again that kind of appeared to be here before. The only thing that kind of has me thinking like they might go test a little bit of excess is this F low and the C low are kind of suspicious to me. They're real similar, and I'm not a huge fan of stuff like that, even though that's not a market profile rule. It's just something that I look at and it kind of makes me suspicious. But when you look at it on a profile, it looks, you know, pretty normal. Bitcoin's picking up a little bit of steam to the downside now too, so that could be a nice indication to bring us back down a little bit lower. Bitcoin's been kind of a leader lately. That's how you know people are selling that off before they sell any of the good stuff. Bitcoin's like the snickle fritz. He's getting the snickle fritz.
Snickle Fritz.
Man, I don't know if I should jump in this craziness or not. Shit. It's ripping. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of times it feels like when there's volatility, if you're not trading, that you're missing out. And honestly, if you can't trade without volatility, you're not going to be a good trader with it.
Right. Well, but the thing is, we've been so hard, I can't even tell if it's going up or down. You know what I mean? I gotta concentrate for a second, see which way it's going.
Right.
It's been crazy right now.
Especially with crypto, because you have such a low liquidity sometimes, and sometimes the fills are just so all over the place in this volatility.
2 seconds, you lost your whole trade.
Yeah. And then it comes right back to where you got in, and you're like, what?
Yep. Yeah. And
We
I
might,
think they
we might
they
get
make money
a
off
bit
that
of a
stuff
bounce
too.
right here. If they don't push this thing down here soon, you might get a bounce. So just be careful here. Maybe from like
Bounce
this
which way?
14 to the upside. Because it's coming down towards this low. This is the previous day's low here. So it might catch a little bit of a bounce off that for Bitcoin. So just be careful with that. Because this is a previous day's low.
God dang, dude. Man, there's probably people ready to commit suicide right now.
There it is.
One thing I was realizing was that on the ES, that huge move we've had
July
back up
2021.
from the 4,000, Bitcoin like barely came up any.
Right.
And then on this downside on the ES, it's like triple on Bitcoin. Bitcoin already
Look at
broke
Wave.
in.
What is Wave? How is that up 6% for the day? And it was up 10% earlier.
Wave?
Wave, it's up. Yeah, it's the only one. It's the only one in green. And 1 inch, which is just kind of breaking. But yeah, it's up 6%. I don't even know what that is.
Is it on
A little
Bybit? I've
research.
never even heard of it. Oh, here it is.
Wave, yeah.
Oh, it was up at like, I mean, it's just green today. It's not doing great though.
It's gonna be new.
It finally hits change, and all the early bag holders start dumping it all.
Yeah. I mean, crypto is just getting crushed. There's a lot of people that have like all their money in crypto. I mean, and it's kind of like we talked about, like if you're a little bit conspiracy theory like I am, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger got on there and said that they wouldn't buy Bitcoin with $25 or whatever. It's got to sting a little bit, being the smartest investor in history. Warren Buffett is not taking a chunk of that, not being an early adopter of something like that. Maybe he is and he's just secret about it, but that's
He's not really a tech guy though. He's old school. He doesn't have email. But you think it'd be somebody on his crew or staff to be like, hey.
Well, what you would think is if you're in the financial industry and you've been in the financial industry for like, an extended period of time, like he has, he's been through a lot of ups and downs, and he saw the tech bubble, and he saw in 2000 like the Y2K where nobody thought computers were going to be anything, right? Everyone's like, fuck, idiot, the internet is never going to take off, this guy is a psychopath, right? Well, who owns like the most? Apple. And it's the same thing when Apple came around. They're like, oh, this Apple's not going to be, it's overvalued, blah, 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 blah. Well, he owns like fucking 60% of it, or like 60% of his stuff is in Apple, right? I mean, so he knows what he's doing, and I think it's got to sting a little bit knowing that he's off his game, because he should have caught that. You know what I mean? As someone as intelligent as he is, I think that that's something that he should have caught, and that's why he's stepping down, I think,
I don't think he's super intelligent. I think he got lucky with Coca-Cola when he was young.
Anyone, yeah, he's definitely intelligent. It's just a question of him losing his edge because he doesn't really fully comprehend the new paradigm of the economy.
Right.
That's what I believe.
Buffett?
There's no question that he's intelligent.
That was very well said.
That's because my uncle's smart as fuck.
I think it's cool that he drives an older car and lives in an older house, and That's how I'd be.
Eats a McDonald's cheeseburger every day for lunch.
That's gross. But he's
That's
still alive, so
that's
it's not
legit.
that bad for you.
He does do that. He eats a cheeseburger every day for lunch. That
What are
guy's
some of those
supersized.
entrants he goes into?
I know he eats
Like he
a
has one
cheeseburger,
entrance.
but I saw on this one food thing, like it was showing like where he eats. He also eats like a steak dinner every night too. At this one place, it's like $1,000 a night.
Yeah. So look, it's breaking this low here, coming back down into that 14 level, and look at Bitcoin gaining a little bit of steam. So this is that area we were trying to watch, and it looked like it just smacked right through that low. So it's almost like it wasn't even there. And this is where it starts to get a little bit slippery for Bitcoin. If it doesn't hold, I think if Bitcoin doesn't hold this area, it could be a quick ride down here. You could see some real capitulation come out. Starting to see some of those big lots step up again. There's some big orders down at the 10 and then down at the 2 and then at the 00 as well that were there below like when we were down there earlier. The market was down there earlier. Look at all the volume coming in down here. This reminds me of 2 weeks ago. It was that. What was this? The 5th? No, it wasn't that day. Oh no, it was that day. Yeah, it was the 5th. Was that a Friday? It was a Thursday. No, that's not the day I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of this day here. So the original day that we broke the low, before we broke the low again, we had all of this volume just kind of hold, and then the next day all of the volume came in lower. The market was hanging out low and then started to rally, and then the Fed just gave it a little smackarooski down to the downside. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And that would indicate, more downside. But let's see if they fix this F low. Like I said, I think this F low is kind of mechanical. And it would make sense if G fixes it and then comes back above, if they're going to get upside. Like they're starting to pick up some gas here. Watch for how it trades on the 10. And this area was the area earlier in E and F period where sellers tried to get busy and sell the market lower and just seemed to not have enough juice here. This kind of like 15 to 10 level. So if you are still short, this might be an area to be looking to at least manage that risk a little bit. You actually got some Walmart stores yourself? Nice. But the news were worried about what Putin might say in regards to escalating the fighting in Ukraine, but really is not so much a speech. Why am I not seeing these comments till right now? Sorry about that, guys. Wave has some NWE coming out this month. Oh, some news. We're trying to make the playoffs. No need to win every game. Exactly. I mean, didn't the Lakers win the championship in the bubble season, and they won like a play-in game? So the only reason they even went to the championship was because the fucking new rules. Still counts as a win. I mean, even if it's got an asterisk by it, like if my name said billionaire asterisk, I don't give a shit. you know. So look at Bitcoin, it's above that low now. I'm saying careful for a bounce here. If this thing starts to gain some steam, you're seeing a little bit of chasing from these buyers, it looks like. And that can sometimes lead to them exposing what they're trying to do, and then they'll have to give it back. Oh shit. Hard. Bitcoin's pushing down below. How much time do we got? We got about 3 more minutes till the next period opens up. So let's not expect much until that next period opens up. Let's just grab that fidget spinner, spin it a little bit. Think about what should I do if it goes up? What should I do if it goes down? What position am I in? Always be, you know, constantly reevaluating. If you're in a short, right, you should be looking or monitoring for a continuation, looking for these sellers to move down lower and lower and price to stay below it, right, for them to kind of hold price down. And then, you know, if you're looking to buy, you're really at you know, a tough spot here to be buying on a day like this. Bitcoin gaining some gas here. See if they're gonna go about 1 minute 30 seconds till the next period opens up. So now you've got a weak low, that GF low. Nasdaq's down 3% here. Apple's down 3%. Let's see, Apple. Apple's just making lower highs like pretty much all day. Here's H. Let's see what H has got. See if H can just clean this up. It would make sense if they can just clean up these lows here. If they can't break the previous bar's low, that's going to show you weakness. And if you're in a short, that is going to be a sign that, you know, you've got to be careful with that, because you could start to, you know, spook out some of these other traders, right? A little bit of absorption right here from buyers. There they go. Back below the 10 level. They sold the 10 heavy again right there. So look for them to try to hold below the 10. This is the level that they were trying to hold below earlier, and were just kind of unable to, right? During that E and F period, they were really trying to hold below the 10 and then ended up having to cover for a bit. So look for them to try to hold it below the 10 and go for that low of day. Remember, only 6 contracts traded on that low. And I think we only had, I think there was only 4 contracts traded on that FI. Bitcoin's still taking us down, right? Bitcoin's been a pretty good, indicator of which way the market's going to go, and Bitcoin's been selling off and taking the market down with it. We really haven't had a day recently in the past 2 weeks where there's been a divergence, a big divergence between Bitcoin and the ES during the cash session. Maybe overnight, it gets a little bit different, but during the cash session, there really hasn't been as big of a divergence as at all, really. So back above that 10, they're going to fight over this level here. A bit of a paparuski there. A lot of buying coming in. Remember, we're at the lows and we didn't get continuation. So what do people naturally do? They cover, right? And in order to buy your short back, you become a buyer. So as soon as you sell something, immediately you become a buyer of that product, right? If you sold it, the only way to get it back is to buy it. So you get a little paparuski like that, short covering. We're right back to where we were at. There's nobody followed through on the upside right there. You're seeing them buy the 10 again right there. So now maybe some buyers stepped in on that second go. The first pop was short covering. That lets you know there's a little bit of weakness in these sellers. They don't want to hold, right? There's a little bit of fear there. Second time down to the 10, you see another little pop. Maybe some selling or maybe some short covering, but it kind of looked like a little bit of buying. So you'll see them if they try to hold it above that 10 again. If you get Bitcoin flipping over to green here, if it does flip up, well, Bitcoin's coming back down actually. But if Bitcoin does flip over there on this period right here to green, just be careful of the market going on a little bit of a short covering rally. Shit, you're not kidding. Amazon has just been getting clapped bad too.
What would you say?
Amazon. So this is Amazon here. I mean, and you can see since the high was actually created before, this is last July, and then here's November. The high in the market was on the 3rd of January. So the high of the market was actually here. They had that big gap down, a little bit of a retracement. Now they've had this gap down last week, and they're still just, one time framing lower. So the market's really just trying to encourage sellers here to come down and play ball below this 10 level. That's what it looks like to me. Like they just want to invite their friends and like, yo, we got this level. Let's just sell the 10. Come on. Let's get down here and let's go. So what would make sense is if they can get that continuation and their friends show up and they're able to push price lower. We just haven't seen that. There goes Bitcoin though. Little capitulation here from Bitcoin. Getting a little bit nervous. The breadth is picking up here too. Nasdaq's up at 6 and the NYSE is up at 14 now. Apple's getting a green bar here though. I don't know what it's trying to do. Apple's confused. I think if oil were to go up today, then the market could come down with some steam, but that's really the only thing that people are holding on to is that oil is just getting absolutely smacked. If oil does start to come up though, it could bring the market down more at a rapid pace. Yeah, so I'm watching the 104.82 level on oil. So if you have a CL chart, or if you've got your other thing, that's where I have, or your trading view, that's where I have it at. Now you're seeing Bitcoin pick up some steam. Look for the market to follow, right? This has been kind of the way it's been going. Keep seeing the market get to this 10, and like I said, this is where they're trying to encourage their friends, like, hey, bro, this is the spot. Sell these TVs. They're going out of style. The 4080s coming out in 5 months. Let's sling these 3080s while we still have a chance. And it just seems like they just can't get the tempo to push back and keep below that 10. And the longer that this happens, the worse odds become. Speaking of odds, did you guys see that Kentucky Derby? 80-1 odds that guy hit that horse. That's nuts.
That was crazy. I did see that.
So you never experienced the market so messed up? Oh yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, really, you just have to try to decipher, because it's hard to explain. It's just the way that if you guys haven't read the book Black Swans, you just need to read it. It's just a fucking crazy ass book. But the thing is like, you can't prepare for a black swan, because then it wouldn't be a black swan. So like the market crashed in 2008 because of the housing crisis, right? The big financial crisis. You know, and if that was going to happen again, well, people are ready for that kind of shit. They already know what to look for, because they've seen it before, and they can go back at a chart and say, oh, this is what happened, so that's what we need to look for this time, right? Well, that's just being, proactive to, if the same thing is going to happen again. And, if the same thing did happen again, then they'd be ready. But the odds of it happening exactly the same way are just not as accurate, because you've got to think about, or just not as possible, because the Fed already knows what happened last time with all of that, and so they'll prevent that. But sometimes when you prevent the bubble over here, it starts to pop up over here. It's like a tortilla, right? When you're frying a tortilla, bubbles start to pop up, and if you pop one, maybe another one pops up somewhere else. And that's kind of how it is. And so there's no way to be proactive or prepare for any of, or all of these black swan events. You just have to be reactive. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being a day trader, is that our job is reactive, and it's on such a small scale that if our reactions are bad today, it's not going to kill us tomorrow. Whereas when you're on some of these hedge funds, because they're playing on such a longer time frame or a larger scale, it becomes, like, some of them, they already see the Grim Reaper on the road that they're walking down, and they can't stop walking. It's just, kind of how it goes. Coming down here. Let's see if they can get some follow through. There's a little bit. Come on. Back to the 10. Weak sauce. I'm just hoping it goes down a little bit for Jared. That's it. I know he's short, so. But Bitcoin's bouncing here. Just bounced about 400 smackarooskies. Sellers may be finding some friends here.
That ain't no guess. That's what's gonna be.
So next level down be that 0175 and then that 00.
Did you get out of your long, Brad, or are you still just gonna stay in it?
Did you listen to what I said, Jared, or no?
No, I wasn't on the chat for the last like 20 minutes.
Oh. No, it's a longer term play. It's not a it's not like a buy and get out today.
Oh, gotcha.
We're
Yeah.
going for a massive pullback in a few days, which it will be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, it's just an
Look at
opportune.
the bottom is right now.
It's just an opportune buying moment for my portfolio.
But why wouldn't you pull and just wait for it to bottom out?
How do I know when it's going to do that? Is there an indicator that tells me?
There's an 8-ball. I have an 8-ball that I use.
Oh, shake that up for me real quick and let me know.
It actually said signs point to yes. So
Well, I mean,
I think
I
we're
have a
good.
gold coin on
pretty
my
good.
desk. It's a
We're
John
good.
F. Kennedy gold coin, and that's what I flipped.
I
And
got no problem doing an 8-ball, but
if they get back above this 10, guys, this short is over. They're just not, they're not doing any follow through. The push through that CGF low was perfect because it cleaned it up. These sellers need to move down and get busy. I think they're just, maybe they're trying to trap more buyers, and maybe there is some people out there that are assuming that this is the bottom and they're buying. And but you know, it definitely could keep going down for a couple of days. Point. Just looks like they're having a tough time, right? The tempo is just, every time we get towards the low, it just gets so slow. But remember, like I talked about how I look at the volume. So the way that I look at this volume is we have this kind of battle zone at the 10, right? Above the 10 probably takes us to the 13, 50, 14. Above that, we're going to get into where the point of control is at, the real point of control, or the VPOC, right? TPOC, if it goes above that, it'll be the TPOC as well. But into there, and then you get these weak or these strong volumes, and that's going to act as a capitulation point, right? If you will. So oil's breaking the low right here. So when we get up to these levels, what's going to happen is some of these sellers that have already taken profit or didn't take profit and now they're back to even, they're weak hands, they're gonna close, right? Because they're gonna get scared. And it's the same. I mean, I'm just using the upside because that's where the volume's at. But until we get above them, right? Really, they should just be, you should just have them marked as, okay, this is where the market needs to get past in order, like, let's say you just took a long right here, right? Your stop is the D low. Your first shot, if you want to try to run it, is to get above this volume cluster and from the market to hold above this volume cluster to give you confidence to stay in that trade. It comes back below, there's no point to just hold the long until, you know, it comes down to your stop thinking that it's going to give you one of these, right? That's a spot to close. And that's why I'm saying on this short, when it's coming down, I mean, it's still slowly grinding, but it's come back a pretty significant amount a couple of times. You're giving up a lot right there, right? And let's say if you were to have just taken profit on the 10, I mean, you're not that far from where you were at. You know what I mean? So is it worth kind of sitting through this as a day trader? In my opinion, you know, probably not, right? Maybe just one lot, especially if you had a really good entry, but it's starting to give you that feeling, right? And so, like, let's say your stop is here, and you're thinking, okay, or maybe your stop is still here, you're just letting it have some room. When it gets up to here, if it gets up to here and starts to hold above here, if it starts to hold up above here, and you're in a short, that should kind of be like, okay, what's going on here, right? How come we're holding up above this volume? And this is what I'm talking about when I say you've got to always be monitoring for continuation when you're in a trade. If you get in a trade, you always want to be monitoring for continuation. So you use some of these points to to assist you. Starting to see some selling in the market here. Amazon financials. Consumer staples are still green here. Oil's catching a bit of a bid here too. Apple's down 3%. Microsoft's almost down 3%. Google still actually holding pretty decent, only down 1.8 and 1.3. Amazon 3.5. Tesla's 6.9. Facebook down 2%.
I haven't lost a trade yet this morning. It's been pretty good.
Nice. The Nasdaq just
Last
broke
night
its
was
low.
frustrating.
Actually, kind of like double bounced off its low here. So this is that spot. This is the first capitulation spot from sellers, right? Sellers, late sellers that shorted from that G low are starting to think about their position. Okay, do I like it still? Right? If they like it, we should see us get back below that 10. If they don't, and hold. If they don't like it, you're going to see us probably hold above that 14 and look to go up there and test the 20. So here's the first test of the 10 here. Doesn't get down to it. Got down to about 10 quarter. I watch the 15 to 16. My bad, not 14. Watch 15 to 16. Volume just come in here. Feel that fly. Good kitty. You know, if your cat's not useful, like, what's the point of it, you know? Cat's always killing shit. So they sell it down off the 16, so buyers really weren't stepping up. Here goes the first test of the 10. There it is. Look for them to try to push it back below. They were only able to trade 2 contracts on that 10. There they go. There's some sellers coming in.
What is it? Noise sounds like a pig.
What noise? This noise?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my scroll wheel. It doesn't really do anything on my chart besides like go like this, like just move it like that. And so I was just like, you know, keeping my fingers busy.
Well, I might have spoke too soon because this rally up. Wasn't watching it. Shit. Might come down though still.
Look at Bitcoin turned white. Remember I said if the Bitcoin candle turned white, you need to be careful of a bounce here. Bitcoin's been leading us, so it just makes sense if this happens. These Walmart contracts aren't doing shit. Oh, they're for June though. That's right. They're longer contracts. That's why. Back at the 10, 975, 10 quarter. Ed Bostic just said, I am not taking anything off the table. And he's probably talking about like a 75 basis point raise. So that might, we'll see what that does. And honestly, I think the market wants to get a raise. I don't know. I'm looking at all the sectors here, guys, and I just don't know if like XLF has made a higher low or is kind of trying to make a higher low. XLV looks like shit. XLK looks like shit. XLY. I mean, I guess it's just a couple of them. So like XLC, XLP, and XLF kind of look like they're making higher lows, but nothing really significant. And the Nasdaq's turning back down right now, so.
All right, back in the green. That's a pretty big ride to the upside.
Yeah. Recent signs that inflation is not accelerating. That's a good thing. That's what Bosick just said. So they're trying to hold it below this 10. Looks like some sellers are trying to get on this 8, but every time it does, it just pops right back to the 10 there. See that? Like, it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just not convincing as far as like, you know, picking up some steam. But it does look like sellers are trying pretty good here.
It took me a while to get out of this trade. I might be done on this one because it did take a while. He's starting to slow down a bit.
So this 15-16 level is the capitulation spot. That should probably take us up to the 20. And then the 20 will be another spot that sellers will look to reoffer. Kitty, what are you doing? Get out of there. That's always try to get close to your computer because it's warm, little freaks. Nope, not on the desk. So watch for the 20. That's kind of looks like the target, I think, for the sellers. That's where that weak volume's at, right here on the 20-50. But it is 10:26. we're gonna start wrapping up here. I'm gonna go get a workout in. The market's starting to settle down a little bit. Remember, bigger picture, value is shifting lower, and until we get accepted into Friday's range, I still think the move is to sell rallies. I so far it hasn't been bad at all, right? Every time it rallied up, if you were to get short, you're probably doing pretty good today. As far as the levels today, right, we've got a lot of volume moving lower. It starts to get thin up here around this 40-40, and then the open has a lot of volume on it as well. Starting to get a little bit of a bid here. Remember to maintain perspective. We're obviously shifting lower. Values not even overlapping to lower, it's just lower. So you definitely want to be maintaining that perspective. Look for Bitcoin to flip again back to white here. The VIX is coming down a little bit here too. Yeah, because she wanted me to open the door. She doesn't want to go out the back door because she won't crawl under the fence. Because she's a drama queen. What do we got? About a minute and 30 seconds till we get this next period open up. So that's where we'll wrap it up once we get a little bit more information from this next period. Oops. Apple just went up about 0.5% right here. The VIX is coming down at a pretty fast pace. Watch the 20 level. If the 20 level doesn't get rejected right away and it starts to hang out right here, just be careful for a rip. You're starting to see the tick get a little bit less and less right here. The Nasdaq's about 6-1 still, but the NYSE is about 12-1 now. Now you're seeing the buying all over. So look at that. Pops a 20. Watch this. If it hangs out and doesn't get much lower than this, it could be some upside. So here we go. Let's see what I period does here. I'm trying to backfill this 20 here. Watch Bitcoin too. Buying coming in. Mechanical selling off that H high. VIX is still coming down. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go get a workout in. You guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. Make sure if you don't have a trade plan that you make a trade plan. If you're confused on how to make a trade plan, jump in the Discord and we will hook you up. You can learn alongside everybody else, and we will all grow together slowly over time. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys later.
Mm-hmm.